Today, I want to talk about artists who want to sell their work and how best they should get their sales information out there. I'm always asking artists, please, can you send me available works? I ask artists all over the world. And listen, there's no one set formula for doing this, but I do think that there are some simple things that you should try and stay in line with, and you'll make the experience of the people receiving that information so much easier and so much more exciting. You know, in this digital world that we live in, the PDF that you're going to send of available work, sometimes called the portfolio, but really it's a sales catalog, is such a useful tool. It's going to take the place of studio visits or of gallery shows. So many times people are going to be looking at your work on a PDF. And I think there are just some really simple and effective things you can do with that document to make your work sing and to make the person who's receiving it have a really great time and be able to understand how much everything costs, how big it is, to start to picture owning it. So these are just five simple things about how to best present your work in order to be able to sell it. Let's sell some art, guys. Because this acts as a way of getting your work out there and telling people about who you are, it's really important to give some context. So don't go in too hard and let them see maybe a picture of you in the studio. One studio portrait is fine. If you're too shy, don't worry about it. But actually, even just a picture of an artwork on the wall in the studio, maybe even in progress with all the stuff of making around it, is lovely. It just really kind of opens it up. This shouldn't be clinical. People acquiring art are not acquiring art because it's like a franchise or an object or a brand. They're buying it because it's made by you and because it's made by you with love. So try and get that across, like the texture of who you are. And then your artist statement. So just, 3 or 4 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph, whatever you can manage about your practice. You don't have to explain it all away, but just get something down that says something about who you are, where you're based, and sort of the central premise of your work. And you can also have a CV. So if you've got exhibition history, if you're in different museums and galleries, that should all be on there. I'll do some separate content about artist statement and CVs another time. But for now, just know that it's great to introduce yourself in this document. And normally I would expect to see that at the beginning or at the end. So that might just be a studio shot, you or no you, alongside a text and maybe some CV and your contact details. And always say where you're based in the world, because I think it's really helpful for people to understand where you are and where you're situated. Remember, this is like taking the place of being in the studio with you a lot of the time. So give people context. Right, onto the main affair, the images. The photography is going to be the thing that's going to sell these artworks for you. You need to be able to pay care and attention to your photography, which I understand is hard, particularly at the beginning. Not everyone is a highly skilled photographer with all the right kind of equipment, blackout blinds, beautiful white pristine walls, a tripod, for goodness sake. So this is definitely something where you're going to need to put some care and attention. Look at some online tutorials. If you're really struggling with it, why don't you ask someone who you know who's a great photographer to come and photograph your artwork for you, just to give you the basics to start you off. You could barter an artwork. So I always say to artists, get involved in barter economy. You like my artwork, great. Can I give you an artwork in order for you to photograph mine for me? And, established artists, they spend a lot of money photographing their works. It's really important for them, and their galleries will support them doing that. But if you're kind of a one-man operation, a one-woman operation, then you really need to give care and consideration to these images. And I tell you what I particularly love. I love seeing things in context. So I love seeing things in the studio, on the wall, dirty, messy wall, love it. Dirty, messy floors, fabulous. Maybe hanging in your own home. Just allow the artwork to come alive. You can show it in a couple of different contexts. And I particularly love, if it's a painting, being able to see the sides of the painting, being able to see close-ups. Obviously, for sculpture, you need to show this in the round. You need to really think about the physicality of that artwork and how best to communicate it and all of its textures and all of its loveliness. Because the thing is, a lot of the time, people are going to be buying from this PDF. It's just the fact of our digital age. So I think that you have to think very carefully about those images. Take time to get it right. Okay, the image caption. This is the thing that's going to tell the person about the artwork. There's a lot of important information there, and people are really going to be looking at it. So first of all, we need a title. If you're the kind of artist that doesn't title their work, absolutely fine. You can put untitled, but do try and give it like an inventory number. So if it was me making it, I might put KB002. just so that there's some sort of artwork name to identify it. After that, we're going to need to see the year. So if it's now, great, 2025. But if it's something that's taken you a couple of years, that you can put 2022 to 2024 and show that span of time. We're also going to need to see the medium, and this is really important. It might be painfully obvious to you that this is oil on canvas, but that's not necessarily evident to everybody else. We want to know what these things are made of. You're trying to bring alive this PDF document to say something about your work. So put everything that went into making this artwork. And then the dimensions. Put the dimensions in centimeters and inches, and then you're covered for an international audience and for people of different ages who are used to different kind of systems of measurements. And then, if it's an addition, make sure you're very clear about that addition. So how many are in the series? How is it made? How's it produced? If there are any artist proof, what numbers next is also nice for people to know. So be very clear if it's a multiple. And then finally, the price. Put the price in your local currency. And actually, price is such a big subject, it warrants its own section. Right, let's talk about money, honey. You need to put your prices on this document, and you need to put your prices in a really clear fashion. Don't be embarrassed. This is how much the artwork costs, and be really clear what people are getting. So this is the artwork price, framed and unframed, and then these are the applicable taxes. So I think that this is just something that artists struggle with. I have asked so many artists to send me their available works, their sales catalog. I'm quite explicit in my language, and they send me back this beautiful document, fabulous paintings, amazing sculptures, hurrah, congratulations. And then I have to email and say, please, can you send me the prices? And I have to say, the worst thing is when you send the prices back as a price list, and then I have to cross-reference that to the document. This is not fun for anybody to do. Okay, just put it all in one document. It makes life so much simpler for people, and it really allows them to see that this is the picture, this is the price. Fine, done. Like there's just ease that the client has that maybe the artist doesn't have. Try and relax, just put the prices all in one place, which leads me to ease of viewing this document. This is absolutely critical. Finally then, ease of viewing. People have asked for your work. That's really exciting. You know, you're almost halfway there. They want to engage with who you are as an artist. They're like, what do you got? Show me your goods. So make it easy for them, reduce the amount of hiccups. So I think what's really critical is just send one document. I know it's so tempting to say, oh, here's some work I made 3 years ago. Here's my current work. Here's my drawings. Here's my prints. But try and condense it and put it into one document. And then the person who's receiving it is kind of walking into a doorway to come and meet you. You know, it keeps it so much more streamlined rather than coming in and out of various documents and losing their train of thought and their concentration and their focus on you. And if you possibly can, make this available to send as an email attachment as opposed to having to make it downloadable, because those links expire and people, you know, don't get around to opening the email, and then they feel embarrassed because the links expired, then you have to chase them up. These are the hiccups that I'm talking about. Just try and reduce the image quality, keep the images amazing, but reduce the size of that document so it can be sent by email. If you can do that, then you're absolutely golden. And I think the thing to think about is that don't be shy and don't be embarrassed. This is something which is an extension of who you are and your practice. I don't want you to sweat over it. I don't want you to spend like months making this document. That's not the work. It's just the kind of the way of communicating your work to someone who's asked for it. But at the same time, just with a few tweaks and a few little changes, you can hopefully make it something that really works, that really sells the artwork and really speaks about who you are as an artist. People love receiving these documents, I promise you. I spend all day long asking for them. I get very excited when I see one pop into my inbox. I usually stop whatever I'm doing to open it, even if I don't really have time. It's a lovely thing to receive. So just make it as easy as possible, and I hope it really helps you guys sell some pictures.